One thing I've noticed when it comes to selling our creative work is that there can often be a part of the process that feels really daunting. That's for me why I love to remind people about purpose when it comes to branding. So whether you are looking at your author branding or you're looking at your branding as an entrepreneur, coming back to purpose in those times when you feel daunting is such a game changer. So that's what I want to explore with you today. So there's a few things about purpose that I want to look at in today's video. I want to look at this idea of we need to know it. We need to know what our purpose is. So we're going to dig into that a little bit more. We also, when it comes to our branding, we need to know how to communicate that to people. The third thing, and for me, I find this such an important touchstone, is to understand that our purpose is our battery pack. So if we come back to this idea that that sales process can feel a little bit daunting, and often when we feel daunted, that energy can really drop. So if we find that energy dropping, if we find that we're really unmotivated when it comes to marketing and sales, we can often pretty much guarantee that we have disconnected from our purpose. Because if our purpose is our battery pack and we're not taking action and we're putting off our branding, we're putting off our marketing, we've disconnected from the source of that energy. So for me, I love that because often we can start to blame ourselves. We can think, I'm lazy, I'm not worth it, I'm not good enough. But no, my friends, it's often that you've simply either disconnected from your purpose or you're not really sure about it in the first place. So let's go through it. Let's look at how we can know our purpose, how we can communicate it, and how we can really tap into that energy or that battery pack. So let's say that you are thinking about your branding as an author. So you're going to be thinking about your branding on your website, but you're also going to be thinking about your branding in your content as well. And again, I think this is the first place that people make a mistake. So when we think about our purpose, it's a real antidote to that, because our purpose as writers isn't simply to sell books. And if we get stuck there, we are going to feel daunted because we're going to be like, how am I going to sell these books? Like, I've got these numbers that I want to achieve, and we're going to feel like it's this huge mountain, and we're going to feel daunted because we don't have access to that energy. We don't have access to our purpose. So you're really beginning to explore what's the purpose behind selling these books. And again, it might be that you're thinking specifically about what's in the book and how you want to get that information out into the world. And you want to be really, really specific here. Like often when I'm working with clients, writers might be sharing with me that they want to share beauty, like the beauty of the world with people. Now, that's really lovely, but again, I will take some time to get even more specific with people. So when you're really thinking about your purpose and you're asking yourself, how specific is it? You really want to make sure that you could imagine it in a picture, or you really want to make sure that if you were to describe it to somebody, again, they'd really be having a clear image of what your purpose is. So for me, if someone says to me, I want to share the beauty of the world with someone, I'm like, well, what kind of beauty? Is it like the beauty of the world when I'm looking at a mountain range, or the beauty of the world when I'm thinking about how children interact, or the beauty of the world when I'm thinking about how people can live off the land and be in a really beautiful communication with nature. So I've given 3 examples just off the top of my head, but there are so many examples when it comes to wanting to share the beauty of the world. So you really want to get specific. Sometimes people say that they want to change lives. And again, it's like, well, what kind of lives do you want to change? And you want to be really, really specific here. So it might be that you're like, I want to change the life of somebody who's really unsure about their sexuality and hasn't been able to share it with anybody. And finally, after reading my book, they have the confidence to come out and talk about their sexuality and really live to the gender that they feel that they are. And so you've gone from a very general, I want to change lives, to being being very clear about the kind of lives and the sort of people that you want your work to be resonating with. So that's what I would say with the first stage of purpose. It's to really think about what you want your work to do. So whether it is that you're selling books, or whether you're selling services as a writer, or courses as a writer or an entrepreneur, you're really thinking about the change that you want to make, or the specific result that you want people to experience when they interact with your work. So then we come to that second phase, which is to communicate it. Because again, if we're in this vague place of like, I just want to sell books, our communication isn't going to resonate with people. I see this so often on social media. When I'm, say for example, I'm on my homepage, I'm looking at my Twitter feed, I see so many tweets of people saying, hey, special offer, buy my book. But for me, a special offer is not going to encourage me to buy a book unless I really know about the writer, unless I really understand about the book. So that's not to say don't ever share content which is special offers, but that wants to be a very rare occurrence. I see too many writers and entrepreneurs just selling in their content rather than communicating in their content. And here's where you communicate your purpose. So say your purpose is to reach people who are single and they're really afraid to take that next step to enter into a relationship and find a place of intimacy with a partner once more because they've had a really negative experience. So we're getting really specific with that. So you're going to start to communicate that in your content, in your branding. So your branding and your content is going to represent perhaps some of the fears that these single people might be experiencing and offer some potential answers or some to that fear. And so people are going to be looking at your branding and really getting a sense of like, wow, this person really knows me, this person really understands me, and this person is really offering me something that I truly believe is what I need. And so you're not selling anything, but you're simply communicating, I know who you are, I know who my people are, I know what feelings they experience when they're afraid, I know what their desires are. And so you're really communicating a specific message, like it's my desire to help single people around the world find a match for them that really resonates with them and enables them to feel safe in a relationship. So that's where we take our understanding of our purpose and it being specific into that next phase where we're really beginning to communicate it. And your communication is going to happen through your brand. It's potentially going to be happening with the way that you form your content, the particular kind of content you use. Like your branding might be that you're using images or photographs. Your branding might be that you're using slides and colors and icons or cartoons. So again, the way that you choose to communicate that purpose is going to become part of your branding. So for me, a lot of my branding comes in through my videos, like as a creator, as an entrepreneur. I love creating video content, so I will be communicating my message through my video content. I love working with colors, I love working with images, I love working with words, so all of that comes into my branding. So the final phase of this, really thinking about your purpose, is really understanding that level of energy or the battery pack that the purpose is. So we really want to do a stock check here. So when it comes to thinking about your purpose and when it comes to thinking about communicating your purpose, do you feel energized or do you feel daunted? So we want to take that stock check, because what we want to understand is if we feel daunted or if we don't feel energized, what that means is that we're not fully connected to our purpose. So how do we fully connect to our purpose? For me, it's about really exploring it. And we're exploring it on 3 different levels. We're exploring it in terms of how clearly can we see it? We've got to be able to imagine it. If the brain can't see it, the brain doesn't believe it. And if the brain doesn't believe it, it doesn't think it's possible, it doesn't take it as a true reality. And so even though you want to sell books, for example, your brain is saying, yeah, but I can't see this purpose clearly enough to believe that this is a reality. So it's not going to want to take action. You're going to feel resistant, you're going to feel unmotivated. So you want to really start to see that purpose. You want to really start to see the way that you're communicating so that you believe in it, you believe that it's true, you believe that it's reality. So you're really seeing the world that you want to create with your books or your products. You're really seeing the change that you want to have in the world, and you're seeing it as if it were really happening. And then you're going to start to believe in it more. As soon as you start to believe in it, you're going to be like, oh my God, like this is so wonderful. I really want to start to take action. You're going to feel that energy. So first level is you want to explore the visuals of it. Next, you want to explore the feelings of it, like the feelings of that purpose. And again, you're really tuning in here, because if you feel that fear, what's happening there is, again, there's something else going on. You're allowing yourself to feel the level of being daunted about what you're doing rather than the feeling of what you're doing. So there's a huge difference between, say, having a purpose where you want to sell books that are going to inspire 13-year-old girls to tackle the world in exactly the way that they want, have the profession that they want. Like if you're really feeling the amazingness of all of the 13-year-old girls across the world choosing professions that they really desire, like that feels really amazing. But if you start to feel daunted, what's usually happening is that you're starting to feel the experience of, I don't think this is possible, or I'm feeling really overwhelmed about trying to make this happen. And so you're not feeling the purpose, but you're feeling perhaps your doubts about your purpose. You're feeling perhaps your lack of belief about your purpose. So you want to keep coming back to, I just want to feel my purpose. I want to feel the amazingness of hundreds of thousands of 13-year-olds all writing me letters saying, thank you. I'm going to have the job of I'm going to have the profession of my dreams thanks to reading your book. So are you feeling your purpose, or are you feeling your doubts about your purpose? That's a beautiful test. When you're feeling your purpose, again, you're going to feel that energy, you're going to feel that desire, you're going to feel that kind of get out of my way. I want to start communicating this purpose to people. I really want to start to throw all of that into my branding. And then the third way to connect to that energy, connect to that purpose as a source of energy, is to tap into the audio version of it. So again, you want to hear your purpose. So that might mean your own internal dialogue. So that might mean you're thinking to yourself, I really want to do this. I really want to have this specific impact on people. But also you're imagining hearing things from people. I know for me, when I first started this YouTube channel, it's a very slow process at the start when you launch a YouTube channel. The views are quite small, the subscriptions grow quite slowly. So for me, what I always used to imagine is hearing people thanking me for my content. Honestly, whenever I felt demotivated, I would just imagine somebody watching my video and being like, Gabs, oh my God, like this video has totally changed my life. It's really helped with my self-doubt, or it's really helped me get clarity. So again, when it comes to your purpose, start to imagine the sorts of things that people might be saying to you, thanking you, reporting back in terms of the impact that you've had on their lives. And those 3 levels are going to help you really tap into that battery pack. So let's just refresh. And again, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, like, what is your purpose? Again, feel free to share with me if you're like, I don't know if this is specific enough, and then I can help you if you need to do a little bit more work and get it more specific. So what is that purpose? Again, how can you start communicating that with your audience? I'd love to hear your responses to that question. And also, what do you get from those 3 levels about how you can really tap into the battery pack of your purpose and start to feel that energy flowing, so that you're counteracting that feeling of being daunted or that lack of motivation with really like feeling your purpose and wanting to take action because you're excited about the vision that you've got and the sound of people thanking you for the work that you're putting out there. There we go, my friends. a real deep dive into branding and purpose. So the branding is really that communication of purpose and really making sure that you stay energized for that whole process. If you want more, if you're really loving the vibe, if you're really loving the way that I'm teaching this content and you haven't yet joined the Right No Matter What community, then you will find a link below. It's a free community. A lot of it runs on Facebook. There's a weekly newsletter, loads of advice, loads of content really guiding you to have the career that you truly want as a writer, as a creator, as an entrepreneur. We would love to have you join us. Wishing you a productive week, an energized week, and looking forward to hearing from you in terms of what's happened as a result of this video. What have you been able to tune into? Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.